When you think rivalries in sports, teams that just flat out do not like each other, Ohio State and Michigan football, Red Sox and Yankees, Duke basketball and North Carolina basketball, there's a lot of good ones out there, but what is the best rivalry in all of sports? When you think of the NFL as far as historic rivalries, you got like the Packers and Bears and the Cowboys and Eagles. And as far as like the modern rivalries, that kind of come and go over time, you got like Steelers, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals. Like there's a lot of them out there. Even though the NFL is like a very physical team sport, it's hard to find like historic rivalries that go way back just because like the NFL's always changing as far as like who's good and who's bad. Baseball has historic rivalries like Red Sox and Yankees, Dodgers and Giants, rivalries like that. You got some good rivalries in the NBA. The NHL has a lot of good rivalries like Bruins and Canadians, just with how physical the sport is. But I think you have to narrow down the biggest rivalries to the two biggest college rivalries. And that is Duke versus North Carolina basketball and Ohio State and Michigan football. Two great rivalries, but in that case, I think you have to go with Ohio State and Michigan football. First reason being is football is like probably more of a physical sport. I mean, you can tell with the physicality Ohio State and Michigan play with that they just do not like each other. These two schools both have huge fan bases too, which makes the atmosphere in these games electric. Duke and UNC basketball play each other multiple times a year, sometimes even 3 times a year, but Ohio State and Michigan is a huge event whenever it happens, just because it only happens once a year. These two teams have played each other every single year besides 2020, ever since 1897? And they rarely ever have dull matchups. These two programs seem to have great talent and historic players year after year. That is why I think Ohio State and Michigan football is the biggest rivalry in all of sports. But hey, tell me in the comments below, what rivalry do you think is the best in all of sports? Like, there's a lot of different opinions out there. Like, BleacherReport.com has Red Sox and Yankees as the best rivalry in sports. So there's a lot of good ones out there that you could have in favor of Ohio State and Michigan football. But as for me, I think Ohio State and Michigan football is the best rivalry in sports. But as far as Ohio State and Michigan goes, who do you have winning on Saturday, Ohio State or Michigan? It's definitely going to be a good matchup. I really do not know who is going to win.